Well, let me introduce all of you. I'm hanging with some of my buddies that I met in Montreux, Switzerland, not Montreal. Montreux, Switzerland. We've worked together. Also, we met in South Africa, in Johannesburg. We've worked together in Edinburgh. So they're from Paris, they're from Boston, and they're from Rome. Welcome, Yassine Bellous.
Hello, yes.
Hello.
Bellous.
Bellous. Hello.
Yes.
I mean, I know you, but who can say that name? It looks like Bell House. Our regular Francesco De Carlo from Rome, and my buddy, this guy who can't stop exercising with me. He just pushes me to mountaintops from Boston, Orlando Baxter.
Hello.
Hi, you guys. All right, so we're going to get into cultural stereotypes since we're all from very different worlds, and I'm looking forward to that. But just, you know, guys, when you think about Johannesburg and our time there, Orlando, what comes to your mind? First thought.
The craziest thing for me was the Apartheid Museum.
Yes.
I think I went to. I'm pretty sure I went with Francesco. Yeah. Mark, did you go as well, Maureen?
No, I went to the one in Cape Town. I didn't go to the one in Johannesburg.
Yeah, the one in that was pretty intense because I think you know, as a Black American. You know, I'm used to the history that we have here in terms of like racism and segregation. So apartheid was just, it was something different, like in the history behind it. So that was probably the most moving.
I did go in Soweto.
Yes, in Soweto.
What is wrong with me? I have Cape Town. I did go in Soweto. And Soweto, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Keep going. Your thoughts on it?
No, it was just if I have to remember one thing that probably surprised me more than anything else was the devastating effect of apartheid. You know?
What I remember is the town of Soweto itself, and a fellow who was working on the festival, Kedi, took me on a tour of Soweto. He grew up there. He talked to me about just being let out of his house as a younger man. He had just had a baby and he was put in jail. And they would say that other prisoners committed suicide when they pushed them out of fourth floor story windows. I was more focused on the city and the things he was showing me, on the beautiful children. I know you took a number of pictures. They loved you. They were all over you, Orlando.
Yeah.
Daycare centers.
They were.
I remember.
When you think of South Africa and Johannesburg, what comes to your mind?
To me, I think the fact that everything is very separate, we can say separated, yeah. Like the rich and the poor. We were in a beautiful hotel. I don't know if you remember that.
The Four Seasons. They put us at the Four Seasons. They didn't pay us anything, but they put us at the Four Seasons.
Exactly.
I was surprised by the people in front of the door of this hotel with guns, and it was very surprising because I didn't expect that. A lot of people told me you will be afraid. It's very scary, Johannesburg. It's a bit complicated, like to have walks and stuff. And in fact, I didn't believe them until I arrived, and Takunda Bima, who was our fantastic festival
leader, our leader.
Whose name I can't pronounce the way he said it. I don't know who he's talking about. I'm like, who's our leader? What did he just say?
No, it's a good friend of ours. It was the promoter.
Yes.
The promoter, Takunda.
Organizer.
Oh yeah. Oh, of course. I didn't hear what you said. I'm like, what? And what stands out to you most?
Yeah, Takunda was very, very serious about security. And from him, I understood that it was a very, very serious issue, like the security. You have to be very, very careful over there. And then I didn't expect that much. I thought it was just like a reputation, a stereotype about Johannesburg. But in fact, they told me, no, this is real. You have to be very careful.
And what about you, Francesco? What stands out to you most about
I remember Soweto. I remember Orlando. We're talking about avocado. Avocado was the best avocado ever. I've never had such a good avocado in.
I don't even know what an avocado is. What are we talking about? Where were you guys?
Avocado. How do you call it? Avocado.
Oh, an avocado. Okay.
Avocado.
Oh, wow.
What did he eat?
Very
Avocado.
nice. Very
Very
nice.
nice. And I had pizza with avocado.
You did?
Yeah, with the yeah. It was good. It was good. And they did when I say this to the when I saw I said this at the airport when I got back. They didn't want me to go back to Italy because it's a crime here to have pizza with avocado. In this
As it should be. As it should be.
But it was good. And another thing that I remember, and probably Yassine also remember very well, the audience, the South African audience, is the best in the world.
Yeah.
I had gigs in a lot of places, but the South African people are the best audience. When we arrived there, they say, guys, if people they participate a lot to the show. You know, it's almost like some places in Italy. They are very they stand up during your sets, just applauding, and people that told us if they told us if you see someone rolling on the floor, don't worry. And I said, okay, this guy is exaggerating. This is exactly what happened. Like during sets, there were people so happy. They were huge. The best audience ever. And Yassine, I remember Yassine said. Do you remember? He said, there's someone just high five an invisible God.
You know, you guys, I did my TED talk about what I learned in South Africa. And one of the things I said is the air is like effervescent with happiness. And I'm saying they're high fiving no one. And they're like hovering out of their seats. And they're like doing this while you're
really
like, to each other. And what I loved is there were brown and black and white and dreadlocks and afros, and it just was such an effervescent feeling of coming together in the city itself and during the performance. But you know, I don't remember it being as dangerous as you guys do. And I remember we all went out to this open market, and it reminded me a lot of like Dumbo in the Brooklyn, in the section of Brooklyn, where it's a little industrial, it's a little hip, it has, you know, different kinds of high rises and short buildings. And you guys were all eating, and I'm like, I can't eat another thing. So I wanted to go walk to a little shop nearby, and it was all like a little road. And I remember you guys got in the van. I don't know who was there, but Loy was there, and you guys were looking for me. You're like, you were gone like 40 minutes, and everybody was so nervous. You know? But I think the performing there was fantastic, and just the idea of all of us coming together and just having a great time and drinking a lot of wine. All right.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, I didn't feel unsafe at all for some reason, you know.
Well, you were hanging. We had also two guys were performing with us from Johannesburg, so they kind of knew the ropes and how to protect us and where to go and where not.
Yeah.
We were kind of insulated with the festival itself. Okay, you want to do cultural stereotypes?
I guess, yeah.
Of course. He's in. Well, first of all, one of the ones about Joburg, and we'll move on from that, is I'm laughing because I was doing a lot of research on like, what are the stereotypes that pop out for people, you know? And they're like, oh, it is a very safe country. All right, you'll see walls and electrical fencing around houses, but don't let that deter you. Like, what? You'll see pit bulls who want to kill people, but don't let that bother you. Who do we want to go after first? I say let's go after Orlando.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Boston, Yassine. When you think of Boston, what comes to your mind?
The Boston Comedy Club, because I heard about it a lot. I know it's in New York, which is super weird. The Boston Comedy Club.
That's now defunct. But no ideas. What do you think of the people from Boston? What are your stereotypes of Boston?
I don't know Boston at all. This is my stereotype. I know.
What about Americans?
You think that French people know about Boston people, which is very funny. What do you think? What do you think about people in Strasbourg? What do you think about them?
I can't stand them. And Toulouse are the worst.
I'm sorry. Boston is the Strasbourg of France for me. This is what I think. I'm sorry, Orlando. I love you, but I just want to tell that French people don't know about Boston, except that we know that Louis C.K. and Bill Burr, I think Bill Burr too is from Boston, right?
Stephen Wright.
there's like something about comedy in Boston that is very, very strong, something very, very in the roots of the city. Like Boston are funny people. This is what I think, but as a comedian fan, not as a French person.
All right, so what do you think of Americans? What's the stereotype? Not that you think it, but what the French think of it.
It's very complicated because we love them. Like I think the French people like Americans, but also you are very complicated. We don't understand you. Like there's so many stuff that we don't understand in the capitalism, the way you work, the way you organize your life. Something we don't understand. And but you are like in one of the best country in the world. Like a lot of people, if a French person just make it in America, this is very impressive for a lot of French people.
So how would you say you're different? You say our capitalism, the way we put our days together. How would the French put their day together?
Well, I don't understand.
You were saying the way we structure our time, the way we...
No. The way you organize your life with the money, where you own your money, you earn your money, the relationship with work and money, it's different in France, I think. So this is a cliche about American, I think, a stereotype. It's about the capitalism.
Yeah.
Yes, and the liberalism, like, I don't know, see if it's understandable, but
are the French not as tied to making a living and the money?
No, we have. I think in France there are so many ways to have. I don't know how to say that. Cushion of if you lose your job, you have many ways to have help from the government. That you feel more part of the community. And what I have as a stereotype about Americans, like if someone loses his job, he will be in trouble, in a lot of trouble to be in the society. There is no help, like not a lot of help, and he will think, oh, but that's normal because this is the rule. Okay, in France the rule is if you lose your job, you have to have help and a security about that. I think this is a big difference, but also this is a stereotype. So maybe I don't know. Maybe this is totally.
No, I think you bring up a good point about safety nets and nothing being there if things fall apart, health insurance and all that. See, when I think of the French, what I think about is remember when there was that horrible terrorist attack with forgive me if I'm not saying it properly.
No worries.
Charlie Hebdo. Remember Charlie Hebdo when they shot?
Charlie Hebdo. Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
When I remember like the strength of the French people saying, we're going to have our thoughts, we're going to speak our truth. And I think, now this is my perception of a very open-minded liberal way of thinking, that we will speak what we want to speak. And if you disagree, who cares? That, life goes on. Here, everybody's so offended if you say something so hurtful. I think that's what I perceive. Is that an accurate perception?
It's yes and no, because a lot of people are fighting because someone says something in France. So we are constantly fighting with each other about political statements, about the government, about someone saying something. But this is not the same way. You get offended. We just fight like you.
that's
No, yeah, you. We are more aggressive, and also, but. If you in France, it will be a terrible thing if someone would be shut up. If someone's shut up, it's something very hard for us. We enjoy that everybody can speak. They can speak loudly and talk what they think about life. I don't know if I am understandable.
No, you said it.
Free speech is very, 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 very important.
I like it. I know, Francesco, you have to jump in about 10 minutes. So can we get what you think? Don't you, Orlando, want to know what Francesco thinks of us as Americans?
Yeah. I will say that I understood that we had the same kind of stereotype that Yassine said, but also I would say that there are two kind of stereotypes in the States. One is it's the same, like in the UK is the same thing, in Italy is the same, like people from the big cities and people from the, I would say, countryside,
Yes.
And there are stereotypes. I'm not saying that this is true. So there are very hip people in New York. We met that they are also cool, like in sitcoms. They are very sharp and very funny. Every time that they open their mouth, they are so funny, and they are very, very careful of the environment and so engaged politically. They want to. They don't clean. They are very dirty.
Americans are very dirty.
No, from New York.
I'm from New York.
I'm not saying that this is true. This is a
Yeah,
stereotype.
that's what he's saying.
This is a stereotype.
Coming out,
I'd say
you're going down.
what came out that New York is a very dirty city, and and people in New York are very careful of clean the ocean, but they don't like to clean themselves. This is what I think.
Really? That's insane. Right?
Yeah.
Talk about other people. Hey,
I'm not saying I don't agree. I know a lot of people from New York. They smell good, and and another thing is that, and you think that this is America. You know, New York is America, and then it's not true because the majority of people are not like the people in the big cities. And then there is another stereotype that the south.
Keep them
The south of at the south of the states, which are, you know, this is how they are depicted by the mainstream thing. So they are not very into science. They they are very they believe in God a lot, and they a lot.
They believe in them a lot.
A lot, and they are, and which is not true. It's not true because my ex-girlfriend. Just a second.
Oh, you take that. You take that. I'm going to take a commercial break to let people know just for a second that I got to whore out my stuff. This show is free. I do this every day, Monday through Friday at 3 o'clock Eastern time. But people have been asking how they can support the show. You can go to PayPal at molangen@gmail.com or Venmo at molangen, or my website is molangen.com. And I also sell these T-shirts, which I really should just send one to Francesco. It says, "Don't make me hate you."
I'm not saying that.
And they're on
Maureen,
my website, Molangen.
I will say that my ex-girlfriend was from Nashville, Tennessee, and Yassine, she was very nice.
Well,
She was
an involved area in Nashville. I mean,
no, it's the southern states. These are the most interesting places that I want to see when I come back to the state. But these are stereotypes. Stereotypes are
not true. This is not the truth. It's about stereotypes.
I want to land before Francesco has to jump. I would like to hear my buddy Orlando from Boston. What do you think of the Italians? The perceptions, not that you feel that way, but what would be your perception?
They're very. Some of the stereotypes I've heard, very hairy, very hairy. very hairy.
Or the men, or both.
I would say both. Very hairy. Very
W?
Very not W. I think Francesco knows what I'm talking about, but very. A lot of
what does this mean?
Great,
come on.
Okay, so good stereotypes would be great cooks.
But what's I want to know what this is, and I'm having a feeling it's.
Oh, I don't know. It's like something Francesco is always doing. I thought it stood for Wu-Tang when he was doing it, but he said it stands for
no. It's the way we cook pizza. We eat pizza with two hands.
I thought he wanted like a menata squad. Two women. Anyway,
yeah.
But no, Italians. To be honest with you, I heard it's kind of racist in Italian. But a lot of these stereotypes that I can't verify that because I know Francesco and I have a great relation. He's never been racist to me, only sometimes when I'm asleep. But
we all are to you sometimes.
Sometimes. But no, yeah, like not too much. I mean, in the way they're depicted on certain things in America, like maybe like Family Guy, whenever they portray anything Italian, it's always like they're like the Southern. They're like not smart, which is not
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
very interesting. See, I see, well, maybe because I have a good friend there, Francesco knows her, Kissy, who was from the
Oh
States.
yeah. Yeah. That's true.
I see, but you know, just growing up in New Jersey, there was the kind of the Guido guy who was sexist and kind of, you know, so you think of like sexism. But on the positive side, I think of the artisans, like from Florence. I think of course, food. Who doesn't think of Italian food? I think of Rome, a bit dirty, like New York.
Yeah, it is.
I think of people wanting to kill you with their cars. Nobody cares. Like nobody cares. I had to follow a flock of nuns so I could cross the street because I figured they won't kill them. Like, you know, so that, I think it's gorgeous wine. I love that. So, hey, Orlando, I'll let you go after you see now.
Oh, well, first of all, I did not, there's a big stereotype about, you know, they're kind of rude, which
Yeah.
I disagree. Yassine's like a lovely guy, you know.
Thank you.
Always drinking wine, breakfast, lunch, dinner.
That's true. That's true.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
When I was,
Yeah.
you know, it's not a bad thing. When I was there, though, that what surprised me a lot when I was there was I didn't because I went maybe 2 years ago. I didn't realize how many Black people were in Paris.
Yeah.
Like when I got, like I was shocked to see that many Black people in Paris. Like I didn't realize that. I think whenever you stereotype France or Paris, really, they don't show that there's that much diversity there, but there's a ton of diversity there. So
That's
I really
bring in tourism. You understand, Orlando? They want to bring in tourism. They have
Hey,
Guys,
listen, they brought me in.
I have to. I'm sorry. I need to go. I would like to be here for the show, but I have to go.
I'm gonna find out what that means.
Yeah, I hope not. Thank you very much, Maureen. I'm so
No,
sorry.
we love you.
Let's do it soon.
Bye.
Ciao, Yassine. Ciao, Orlando. Ciao, Maureen.
Ciao.
Take care. Bye.
Ciao. Take care.
Ciao. See, now when I think of, well, okay, I didn't mean to cut you off, Orlando. Francesco did. Did you want to tell us what this means yet? Okay.
No, it just I don't know. It means peace or something. A peace.
All right.
I'm not sure about peace. What I like when Italian people do this, I didn't understand this. Okay, so this move, which is very, it's a cliche about, in my mind, it's a cliche. And I met Italian person, friend of Francesco in Edinburgh, and we had a conversation about the cliches. Like, well, all the cliches about the French, many are not true, and all the cliches about the Italian, the food and stuff, most of them are not true. And while she was talking, she finished the sentence by right, and I was like, real people do this, and some of the cliches about the French are a little bit true. French people in Paris are rude because it's the capital. I think it's the biggest city in France. It's like in New York. I think that people have been very rude with me in New York because I was a tourist with my accent. They were like not being nice with me, just nice people in the shops and stuff. They were very, very rude. And I was lucky to be used to that rudeness because in Paris, they are hard sometimes. But you know what? And Orlando, you're very nice. And all the American people I met in my life, they don't look at all at the way we can imagine them from movies and TV and stuff. And you're more charming and more intelligent, because the idea that we have is like the way we can picture you is from your entertainment, and sometimes your entertainment is not so subtle, super subtle. It's not super stupid sometimes, but we like it a lot. We like it a lot. Like what you watch on TV, we watch it too. We are very aware about what you watch. And,
you know what I love about Paris? Maybe this is a stereotype, but when I was in Paris, I could get a great glass of champagne anywhere. I'm not joking.
Right.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
And my sister, who's like a Francophile, she always loved everything French since she was a little girl. And when we were there, she's very understated, and I'm not. And she's like, Maureen, you can't ask for sips of wine to see which one you like better. And if they come by and you don't want any more, you just say no. And I just no. I go, no. And she's like, no, no. I go, I'm going to go, no. She's like, please don't. The pastries.
Yes, and I hope we will be able to travel again soon. And the simple fact to talk about Rome or Boston or New York make me sad, because I know that now today I cannot take a plane tomorrow to come anywhere in the world. I'm locked. But if you travel in Paris one day and you want to blend in, it's the only thing that you have to do to make French people happy is to know like 4 or 5 words in French. If you know 5 words in French, they will find you very charming, because you make the effort to speak French. But most of the American, they just don't ask. They come in shops and they speak English. This is just like it's normal. Like everywhere is American.
That's rude.
Everywhere.
Yes.
And they come. And it's a bit annoying. I know a lot of people speak English in the world. The English is the most spoken language.
Right.
Yeah, but it's nice to make a little effort to say bonjour, bonjour madame, bonjour monsieur.
No parlez français, pardon. Yeah.
Pardon, ouais. You do that, people like you.
Well, there's an arrogance to walk into a room and expect everybody to be around you and the way you are.
A little bit, but French people are very arrogant too. I think that's not a problem. We don't have a problem with arrogance, but just the tourists, the arrogance and tourists, 2 problems. Okay.
Yeah.
How about loud? How about Americans being loud? Is that a big deal?
No, that's fine. You cannot beat Spanish people. The Spanish people, big stereotype about Spanish people, that when they talk, they are very dynamic. They are very positive when they talk, and they are loud, but like positive loud, like hey ha ha ha. This is but when you're French, most of the French, it's rude. You have to be like that. In Paris, not French. In Paris, we're a little bit assholes of France.
You know where I went in France? I went down, I was in Paris a number of times, but I went down to Arles and then the Camargue. And that was very
la Camargue, yeah. Those are nice places.
Wild horses on the beach. That was insane. So Orlando, do you have anything to add to this, my friend?
Yeah, I will say one thing I learned about America. I think I learned more about American stereotypes from all the traveling.
Yeah.
Like I remember being in Edinburgh and I've been there for the first week, and somebody saying Americans are loud, right? And really? I was like, oh, that's weird. I've never heard that.
I have heard that
to me. Yeah. So then maybe about 2 or 3 weeks later, after being in Edinburgh for a while, and knowing the type of audiences that I've been, performing in front of for 3 weeks. And I was at Alex Smith's show, actually. I was at Alex Smith's
from the
show.
UK, yeah.
I'm watching his show, and then I hear somebody laughing, and like immediately everybody turns around, and I'm like, yeah, that's an American. And it absolutely was an American. Like, so you realize like certain things about you, I think, when you travel outside the country, because in the country, you have no idea. We think that I think Americans that don't travel sometimes think that the world just envies us. And we have no idea.
Yeah, I don't think that. In some ways.
No, when you go outside of America, I think you realize like, hey, they don't envy us in the way that we think that they envy us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with Orlando. I agree with Orlando that the most you travel, the most you understand your country and your country in the frame of the world. Like France in the frame of the world, I was not aware about the cliches that the people had about France, but also the way they were looking at us. Because I grew up in this country. In France, we are very proud of France. Like everybody say, yeah, France is good. And we have positive stuff about France. Okay? We fight a lot in the politics and stuff. We had many problems, but the big picture is like, we are happy about that. But when you travel, you understand that other countries don't see us like that. And when you change from country to country, the picture is different. From people to people, the picture is different. When I was in South Africa, I talked to people from Zimbabwe, and they have their picture of France, which was very different. And the way that Orlando like you said, you were surprised about the diversity. I can imagine, because when I see movies in Paris, there's no Arab people, no Black people,
Right.
no Asian people, French Arabic people like me. We are French, but we are from the diversity of now on Netflix.
What is your background? French what? What did you say?
My parents are born in the north of Africa.
Ah.
The country is Algeria.
Ah.
And yes, it's an Arabic country.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
well, you know what I was going to say? It's hard to have prejudice in general when you meet people from different worlds, when you become a real person to each other. You know, we know you from France, we know Takunda from South Africa, and Loy and Tots, and we know Francesco, which that one is a little different. I'm kidding, we love him. And it's hard to be prejudiced when you know people, when they're not just other. And I'll tell you this, when we were in Edinburgh doing the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, I was very impressed with what a hub of intellect Edinburgh is, with the history of the intelligence there, the universities there. But one thing I noticed with Orlando, because we hung out, well, we all hung out a lot, but I was on these hikes where all he do is cry like a baby. It's so far. But we would take pictures of whoever, like whenever we found a Black person, we'd take a picture. There was like 3, and then we found one Black guy in a kilt, and we were like, whoa.
Yes. I remember that. I was so surprised that nobody was as interested in the Black guy with a kilt as I was.
What?
Look at this shit. I'm seeing a leprechaun in me. Look at this. Like here.
Well, listen, you guys, what do you want to promote? First, let me say to people, then I'll let you guys promote. I have great guests all next week. I just booked Vic DiPotetto. I love the guy. I've known him a long time. He is the biggest ranter, a lot of success nationally. I'm very happy for him. He will be with me Wednesday, hanging with Langan at 3 o'clock. I have Tom Cotter, who came in second to the Dogs on America's Got Talent. Monday, Jim David. Thursday, I have Karen Bergreen, Veronica Mosey, and Carrie Louise. She's been on Showtime. We're going to talk comics, kids, and Corona. And then Friday, Hell Gigs with the comics every Friday. So Yassine, what would you like to tell people, how they follow you? Or?
No, I think the best thing I can advise if they are interested in international comedy is to watch my documentary that is on Netflix right now. I realized and I directed and produced a documentary called Voulez-vous rire avec moi ce soir? It's a documentary with a lot of comedians around the world, like 38 comedians around the world on Netflix. Voulez-vous rire avec moi ce soir?
I'm going to get you to write that down, and I will post it on Facebook. No, seriously.
Yeah, it's awesome. I watched it. It was awesome.
But you know what I told Orlando? We weren't in it. 38 from around the world. Where were we? Huh? He gets to be on my Zoom show. I don't get. No, congratulations. I want people to follow.
Next documentary, Maureen. I put you in.
Next one, part 2.
Okay.
But email me. I'll email you, and we'll get the proper name, and then I will put it on the .com for people to know.
With pleasure. Thank you very much, Maureen.
Thank you. And what about you, my buddy from Boston?
You can just go to my Instagram page, Orlando R. Baxter, or go to my website at orlandobaxter.com, or just follow me on my Facebook page. I got 20,000 followers. That's a lot to me.
Do you really?
Yeah, but there's some of them are fake.
You know what?
Anyways.
You know what they all do? You're a family. You keep meeting. Every time he travels, he goes, Maureen, I met a brother. I met a sister.
Yeah, and it's always in another country.
and love brothers and sisters, not like, my brother. I mean, brothers and sisters. And if people want to support the show, it's free every day. But people have been asking me, go to Mo Langan on PayPal, molangan at gmail.com, and at Venmo at Mo Langan. Or you can go to my website and get one of my t-shirts, Don't Make Me Hate You. I love these. And I didn't show you guys before we say goodbye, my doll that I bought in South Africa. Look. I bought a woman making them on the street. All right, you guys.
I know, but that is Maureen, that I don't know about that one.
She looks a little crazy, but she's got great. She looks like a
Maureen,
gingerbread.
I don't know if you should have added that to the show.
But she's
I
like,
remember when, you know, it's so funny. I remember when you bought that doll. Too.
from the woman who hated me on the, you know, I was just trying to buy a little doll. Oh, come on. She's my buddy. All right. She looks like a gingerbread house doll, doesn't she? All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I love you guys. Thank you for being with me today.
Yeah, love you, Maureen.
All right,
Wow.
you guys.
Bye bye, Maureen. Thank you very much.
Yassine.
Thank you.
Next time we meet, it'll be all together. I hope.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.